When it comes, everything changes. Children can go to school. Women can start businesses to help support their families. Crops can grow. Neighbors can take care of each other. Markets can thrive. Families can be families. When water comes to a village, everything changes. Water is essential to life and the life of a village. We are giving next projects like new wells in villages possible. Give to weak of compassion and let love flow.
Water. It's essential to life. Water can revive life. Water restores life. In fact, mine is a story of new life from a random encounter at an ancient well. Is that coming from my microphone? Today, I share with you how sustainable access to clean water can transform individuals and villages, because mine is a story of transformation. Lack of clean water increases the transmission of preventable diseases and premature death. Further, water that has to be carried over long distances inhibits the capacity for people for life-sustaining work, like going to school, and like growing crops. This Thursday is Earth Day, April 22nd. And as you reflect on my story of new life, I pray that you will commit yourself again to reviving our planet through your committed action at home, at play, and at work in your community. 17 years ago, I was a shadow of the person that is standing in front of you today. Barely beginning my 5th decade of life, I had been beaten up by circumstances. I was tormented by poor decisions. I was marginalized in my community of faith and spurned by a culture of propriety. And I hated water. You see, I was orphaned at a very young age because I got lazy one day. In my small village in Samaria, we had two water sources. We had a river that ran at flood stages, and we had Jacob's well. So that river only ran during the rainy season, and it was full of waste and disease. And when I didn't want to spend my entire day walking to Jacob's well and carrying back that water to provide water for my family, I got our daily water from the floodplain. All of us got very ill, and my parents didn't survive. It seemed a cruel justice that I did. An orphaned child in my poor village could eke out a life from the charity of religious families. An orphaned girl was prey to any man who could dispose of her when she was no longer useful. When I was in my teens, I thought I would find love that protected me, like I had with my parents, and like my religion had taught me. But I found out 2 or 3 men deep that love was a fairy tale. And the God that I worshiped didn't see me or hear my prayers. My well was dry. And I had to find security, if only for a month or a week, in any bed that would welcome me. And my thirst for love, having never been quenched, had turned my heart into clay so that it would not be broken again. You see, having never experienced life-giving love, my soul was diseased, and my spirit was prematurely dead. And this is the fate of all who do not experience the reviving energy of living water. But there was a day when I was so desperate that a chance encounter changed me for good. I started out early on this day to journey to Jacob's well to collect water for the man who was sheltering me in exchange for my various labors. The journey consumed most of my day, and I hoped I would get back in the early afternoon so I could rest before the evening's expectations. And when I got to the well, a man asked me if I would draw water for him. Well, I had no interest in entertaining another man, and so I bristled at his request. He didn't strike me, as so many men had when my sharp tongue got ahead of my good sense. No, with a softness, with a tenderness that was so foreign to me, he offered me new life. It's still a mystery to me today, even as I tell this story again and again, how that man compelled me in a suddenly soft heartbeat to tell the truth. And with a dangerous and vulnerable honesty, I laid my soul bare to him. But I will tell you that the refreshment that I experienced in that moment of unexpected transparency is a memory that I hold most dear. In fact, it's the principle upon which I live my life now. You see, I walked back into my village that day without my water jar, but with a newfound courage. And that courage transcended my history. I told the story of that man's kindness to me. And since that day, and every time I tell the story, I grow in boldness, in courage, in confidence. And these many years since, I have spent my life setting up sustainable, clean water sources in the villages throughout Samaria because I received a calling, a purpose on my life that day. Because the love I encountered at that well softened my heart, and it opened my mind to my own value, to my own talents. In revived power and confidence, I now love water, and I believe in its life-sustaining power to change people and to bring hope to their suffering. I stand transparent before a God that I worship in a spirit of liberation and in the truth of who I am. A God that doesn't wound me. A God that doesn't dispose of me. A God that doesn't spurn me. No. A God that is slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love, and patient to teach me daily that I am seen, I am heard, and I am valued. With this new life, I stand before you, telling my story in vulnerability and hoping that you will find the courage to worship as I do. Today, I stand before you, hoping to inspire you to support clean water projects throughout the world so that others can experience the life-giving power of water. So that impoverished people don't have to live enslaved to preventable diseases and premature death. So that women can support their families and find productive work as I have, instead of carrying water with their very limited resources and energy. The Week of Compassion is a global relief organization of the Disciples of Christ that is transforming suffering into hope. I pray you will support it today. If not Week of Compassion, any act of charity, local or global, that revives the natural resources of our planet is a gift honoring the living water and new life that we experience when we worship in spirit and in truth. Thank you.